Vera Delacroix came back to Bay City on a Tuesday. She called from the train station. She'd been gone 11 months. I'd last seen her on the steps of Thomas's building, the morning after they buried him. She'd thanked me, told me to keep his files, and walked to a waiting cab without looking back. She hadn't called since, hadn't. Which meant she needed something, or she knew something, or, and this was the one I was least prepared for, she'd found something in the 11 months since Thomas died and had been deciding very carefully what to do with it. She was at the office by 9. Same coat she'd had at the funeral. I recognized it from the way it sat on her shoulders. She sat down, crossed her hands on her lap, and looked at me the way people look at someone they've thought about for 11 months but haven't spoken to.
You look tired.
Long case.
Yes, I've been following it. The Gazette, Harwell's trial. I recognize the address. South Pier. Thomas's Pier.
Thomas's file is in evidence. That's why the trial exists.
I know. He'd be very quiet about that. Not proud. Just quiet. Like it was the right outcome, and that was enough.
It is enough. She nodded. Then she set a small envelope on the desk. It had been opened, carefully, along the edge, with a knife. Not read hastily, read deliberately.
Thomas sent me a letter 10 days before he died. I'd read it twice and filed it away. I read it again last month. The second time, one line made sense that hadn't the first time.
What line?
He wrote, "There's a man named Kern who worked alongside Cray in the Harbour District. He went quiet some years ago. I haven't reached him yet. But if he's still in the city, he knows how things were arranged. He's worth finding before anyone else does."
Thomas Delacroix had been building a file on Victor Cray 8 months before Eleanor walked into my office. He'd found a thread I hadn't. He'd just run out of time to follow it. What made the line make sense the second time?
The Gazette. Judge Aldermain, assigned to Harwell's trial. You know who he is. I can see it from here.
Yes.
Thomas knew the harbour arrangements were connected to something on the bench. He didn't know the name. He thought Kern might have it. I think Thomas was going to Kern the week he died. He never got there.
She had carried this for 11 months. The letter, the name, the line that almost made sense. She'd come back when it finally did. Aldous Kern, you have a first name.
Thomas was always thorough. He had a street too, Meridian Street. He'd written it in the margin.
I went to the phone box on Kellerman and 3rd, the same one I'd used before. Old habits are habits for a reason. Aldous Kern, Meridian Street. What do you have? Kern, I know that name. Small-time legal fixer. Harbor District, late 1930s into the mid-40s. Document work, not forgery. Procurement and filing. The kind of man who knows how records move. He's still in the city? As far as I know. He walked away from the harbor work around 46. Runs a watch repair shop on Meridian. No outstanding warrants. Quiet life. Who would know he's connected to Cray? Anyone who knew Cray's operation at the document end. Which means anyone who used that operation. Which means, Malone, be careful with this one. I will. A watch repairman on Meridian Street doesn't have the resources to protect himself. If Calloway's people are watching the names connected to Cray and someone leads them there... I'll be careful. End a day, Malone. Don't sit on this.
He was right. Whatever Kern knew had been sitting quietly for 2 years. If someone found out Frank Malone was asking about him, it wouldn't sit quietly much longer. The shop was on the east side of Meridian, between a tobacconist and a notary. Small window, a sign in the glass, Kern Watch Repairs, the kind of shop that hasn't changed since 1938.
We're closed.
Thomas Delacroix was trying to reach you. He died before he could. Kern looked at me for a long time, then he stepped back from the door.
I heard about Delacroix a year ago. I saw the Gazette notice.
He had your name in a letter he sent his sister. He thought you might know how Cray arranged things in the harbor district.
I don't talk about those years.
I know, but the man who's trying to bury what Cray built is about to preside over a federal trial. A judge, 3 arrangements across 11 years. If Cray's registry doesn't surface in the next 8 weeks, the trial closes with every piece of evidence managed.
You know about the registry.
I know it exists. I need to know where it is. Kern moved to the back of the shop. He made coffee without asking if I wanted any. He was buying himself time to decide something.
Cray used me 3 times across 11 years. Document procurement, original filings, carbon copies, chain of custody records, things that needed to move quietly from one place to another and arrive clean.
You held materials for him.
Temporarily. He always collected within 48 hours, except the last time. 3 days before the federal warrant, he brought me a package and said he'd be back in a week. He wasn't. I held it for 8 months, then I destroyed it.
You destroyed it.
I didn't know what was in it. I assumed it was the kind of thing that becomes a liability when the man who gave it to you disappears across 5 states. I was right about that.
But you know where he went after you. That last visit, he came to you and then he went somewhere. He called it the second room. Kern went very still, the kind of stillness that comes from hearing a phrase you haven't heard in 2 years and hoping you'd never hear again.
Where did you hear that?
His daughter, he used it once in a letter.
He used it to me once, in passing, the day he brought the package. He said the materials would be safe, that he'd already been to the second room and the important things were there.
Do you know what the second room is?
A space he maintained. South Harbor, Wharf Row, above a chandlery, 2nd floor. He always entered from the alley stairs at the back. He called it that because the chandlery occupied the ground floor and he never went in through the front.
He told you this.
He trusted me because I'd given him 11 years without a single problem. He had no reason to think that would change.
I wrote nothing down. The address would stay in my head until I was somewhere safe to put it. Wharf Row, above a chandlery, South Harbor.
I haven't been there. I didn't go looking for it. I destroyed the package and I stayed on Meridian Street and I fixed watches. That's all I've done for 2 years.
Thank you.
Delacroix was a good man?
Yes, he was.
I'm sorry I didn't answer when he came looking.
I was back at the office by 3:30. I'd taken 3 separate routes from Meridian, doubled back twice, changed direction on Victoria Street. No tail I could see. I wrote the address in my notebook, Wharf Row, South Harbor, above a chandlery. The phone rang before I'd finished the sentence.
Kern, he's dead, Malone.
When?
An hour ago, shop locked from the inside. Someone had a key. Watchmaker's table was clean. No sign of a struggle. Professional.
I was there 2 hours ago.
I know. Someone followed you from the street and waited.
They were watching Kern.
Had to have been. He'd been sitting on Meridian for 2 years and nothing touched him. Then you walk in and an hour later he's dead. They were waiting to see if anyone came asking. You came asking.
The logic was clean and terrible. Calloway's people hadn't moved against Kern in 2 years because Kern was inert, a closed door, no value as long as no one opened it. The moment Frank Malone asked about him, he became a liability. He told me something. They don't know what he told me.
Are you certain?
They moved after I left. If they'd been inside listening, they'd have moved before.
Then you have something they don't. That's not as comfortable as it sounds. What did he tell you?
Not over this line.
Malone, this is the first person killed in this case since Thomas Delacroix.
I know.
Whatever he gave you, find it fast before they figure out what he could have told you.
He rang off. I sat with the notebook open and Kern's address in it and thought about a man on Meridian Street who had spent 2 years fixing watches and minding his own business and who was now dead because he'd answered a door. Vera was at the office at 4. I'd called her from the payphone on Bay Street and told her not to go back to her hotel without seeing me first. She came without asking why.
He's dead.
Yes,
Because Thomas's letter led you to him.
because someone was watching for anyone who came looking. It's not your fault.
I know whose fault it is. I'm just establishing the sequence.
She sat down. She didn't cry. She did the same thing she'd done at Thomas's apartment 11 months ago. She went very quiet and very still and let the weight of it settle exactly where it was without fighting it. He gave me what I needed before he died. They don't know what he said. That matters.
Did he know that he was running out of time?
I don't think so. He seemed resolved. He'd been carrying something for 2 years and he finally set it down.
Thomas would have liked that, the idea that someone set something down at the right moment.
Victor Cray's registry was in a building on Wharf Row, South Harbor, above a chandlery. Kern had sent materials there on Cray's behalf and had never gone back. The address was real. The question was whether Calloway's people would reach it first. I know where the second room is. South Harbor, Wharf Row, above a chandlery. I can't go tonight.
Because they'll be watching it.
Because they'll be watching it. They know someone came to see Kern and they'll assume Kern talked. They'll either clean out the location tonight or set it as a trap. And either way, walking in after dark is the wrong move.
How long do you have?
Hours, maybe a day, if they clear the location before I get there.
Then Calloway holds the registry and destroys it, and Aldermain presides over Harwell's trial with nothing to stop him.
Yes. She picked up her coat and bag. She looked at the notebook on the desk.
I'm not going back to the Fenwick. If you need to reach me, different hotel, different name, call me the name of Thomas's street.
Arden.
Yes, Arden.
She left at 6. I sat at the desk with the notebook and the address and the knowledge that Aldous Kern had been alive this morning and was dead by midday because he'd been honest with a man who came through his door. Calloway's people had moved from surveillance to killing. That was a different order of problem. A Plymouth parked at the curb was a message. A body on Meridian Street was a decision. A decision that the registry was worth more to them destroyed than the discretion of keeping things quiet. I wrote the address in full. South Harbor, Wharf Row, above a chandlery. The second room. 11 years of Victor Cray's most expensive secrets in a building I could name and couldn't yet reach. Thomas Delacroix had been trying to find Kern the week he died. Kern had carried the knowledge for 2 years and died the same day he gave it up. Whatever was in that room had already cost 2 men their lives. The question was how many more before it surfaced. I pulled the blinds on the street window. The Plymouth was back at the curb. Not alone this time. A second car, dark sedan, 3 spaces back. They weren't trying to hide it. They wanted me to see both of them. The Midnight Files will continue next week. Same time, same station. I left the light on. If they were going to watch The Office, I'd give them something to watch.